Previously on They Caught Me. Stephen Hand, Jerry Burns, and Amanda Love are brought in to give statements about their whereabouts on the 9th of May of 2019. Jerry, aka Tommy, elected to take his daughter's advice and get a lawyer prior to questioning. Stephen Hand would speak with police but denied any knowledge of the crimes. On the other hand, Amanda Love would tell an elaborate story about a messy midnight assassination, one that she took little part in aside from driving the vehicle to and from the scene. In the end, Amanda would receive 40 years for her role in the plot. But at the trial of Jerry Burns, Amanda was needed to take down the architect of the murder. And so they bring Amanda from her prison cell to testify against Jerry Burns and to finally let us in on the truth about what happened that night in Velvet Burns' home. So, what do we have here in part 3? We have Jerry Burns on trial. Stephen Hand and Amanda Love have already been sentenced. Stephen pled guilty to avoid the death penalty, and he got life. Amanda pled guilty to second-degree murder and received 40 years. And then there's Jerry, who is in the middle of a death penalty trial. Prosecutors desperately need Amanda to link Jerry to this case for the jury, where he could walk with no wife and a new life.
Hey. Thank you, Your Honor. Please state your name for the record.
Amanda Love.
And you're currently incarcerated?
Yes, sir.
And what are you incarcerated for?
Second-degree murder and conspiracy to commit murder.
And who did you plead guilty to murdering?
Velvet Burns.
And who did you commit that crime with?
Jerry Burns and Stephen Hand.
And do you see Jerry Burns here in court?
Yes.
Okay, could you say where he's seated and what he's wearing?
From here.
You can stand up if you need to.
He's on the left of his attorney in a striped shirt.
Your Honor, may the record reflect the witness's testimony.
It may so reflect.
I learned. So, Ms. Love, how did you first come to meet the defendant in this case?
Through my ex-girlfriend, Sarah McCabe.
And what was the nature of the meeting? How did y'all meet? What are the circumstances of it?
I originally met him. Sarah was using him for money. That was her sugar daddy.
And so did you end up developing that relationship?
Yes, sir, I did.
And explain to the jury how you went about that.
I was in a domestic with Stephen Hand in October 2018. We separated. After that, Sarah came to me, asked to use my cell phone to text Mr. Burns, and then we just started talking, and I started using him for money.
And what were you exchanging for that money?
Sexual favors.
Did you pretend like you loved, liked, were interested in Mr. Burns?
Yes, sir, I did.
And were you at least marginally interested in him?
For the money.
Okay. So you never loved him?
No, sir.
Would you have married him?
For the money.
Okay. And why were you so desperate for money?
I was a single mom with 5 kids, and Stephen Hand at the time didn't have a job.
What was your drug dependency at that time?
I was on Molly, cocaine, ecstasy pills, and I was smoking weed.
And was that regularly?
Yes, sir.
Would you have considered yourself a drug addict?
Yes, sir.
Were you properly caring for your 5 children?
Yeah, it's best of my ability.
Right, but if you're drug dependent, you're not.
Yes.
Is that fair?
That's fair.
I'm not saying you don't love your children, but you weren't caring for them like you should. Is that
No,
fair?
sir, I wasn't.
Okay. So you've pled guilty to second-degree murder and conspiracy to get second-degree murder. What was your sentence?
I got 70 years, but Judge Laws granted concurrence, so I'm doing 40 years.
Okay. So you got 40 years on the second-degree murder and 30 years on the conspiracy.
Yes, sir.
But he ran those at the same time, so you're doing 40 years.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is that in Florida State Prison?
Yes, sir.
And has the state of Florida given you any deals?
No, sir.
Now, obviously, you committed a first-degree murder, but you pled to a second-degree murder. Is that
Yes,
true?
sir.
Were you ever indicted and charged with first-degree murder?
No, sir.
Did you plead guilty to second-degree murder and conspiracy to commit second-degree murder very early in your case?
Yes, sir, I did.
Did you actually provide cooperation with the police while you were incarcerated for this case and drive them around and find evidence?
I did, but not in the very beginning. I wasn't very truthful in the very beginning.
Oh, you lied a whole bunch in this case, right?
Yes, sir.
Why'd you do that?
Because I was scared and I was trying to protect myself.
Were you trying to protect your children?
Yes, sir.
Were you trying to protect Stephen Hand?
Not really.
Okay, because you had a rocky relationship with him.
Yes, sir.
All right. Because during the course of, in all likelihood, cross-examination, we're going to hear a lot about your lies.
Yes, sir.
Is it fair to say that you lied from the first time you were questioned about this case until you were deposed in this case, and you were deposed multiple times?
Yes, sir.
Okay, over and over again you lied.
Yes, sir.
You implicated people that were not guilty in this case.
Yes, sir.
Who did you implicate that was not guilty in this case?
My ex-girlfriend, Amber Harding,
And why did you do that?
because I was trying not to take the blame.
You didn't want to get in trouble,
No, sir.
but you are.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we'll go a little bit more into that. Just want to clear that up. So, who did you physically go into the house with armed to commit a murder?
Stephen Hand,
And who paid you to do that?
Jerry Burns.
Now, if you recall, you remember in her interview that she was just a driver and that Amber and Stephen went into the house. Now she's admitting that she lied about Amber and she went into the house.
The defendant.
Yes, sir.
So going back to, what did you know about the defendant, his family, his job, his occupation, whether he had money? Describe that for the jury.
I learned all about it from Sarah McCabe. You know, she knew him longer than I did, and she used to tell me about him.
And what would she say?
She used to say that he had money, he owned his own business, that he was married, he had kids, but she was seeing him on the side.
And did that all turn out to be true?
Yes, sir.
When you received money from the defendant, what were the amounts beginning in the fall of 2018?
Like $1,000 at a time or more.
And what were you saying to the defendant to get him to give you that kind of money?
And I had bills we needed to pay, the girls needed things, and sometimes he just gave me money just so we had money, and I wasn't broke.
Did you have a job?
No, sir.
And Stephen Hand didn't have a job?
No, sir.
When did Stephen Hand re-enter the picture?
November 2018, after Thanksgiving.
And did you get back together with him?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Y'all are doing drugs?
Yes, sir.
And the kids are seeing all of this.
Yes, sir, they are.
So, did the defendant ever give you money before you engaged in sexual relations with him? In other words, was he giving you money before you ever became romantic?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And that continued after you became romantic?
Yes, sir.
What would you spend the money on? Some of it was for the kids and diapers and things like that, and then some of it was for drugs. Is that fair?
Yes, sir.
And where were you living beginning in the fall of 2018?
Off Herlong, right there at Herlong and Normandy Boulevard.
And was that a home or an apartment? What was that?
It was a mobile home.
And how long were you living in that mobile home?
Maybe 4 or 5 months.
And then why'd you leave it?
We wasn't paying the rent like we were supposed to.
Because it was going to drugs?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And where'd you end up going?
Different motel rooms.
So you're bouncing around, spending all that money on drugs and hotel rooms?
Yes, sir.
Okay. No intent of getting a job?
No, sir.
When did you begin to learn, let me strike that question. Let me go back to this. When did you meet members of the defendant's family? Did you ever meet Velvet Burns?
No, sir.
Did you ever meet Kayleen Burns?
No, sir.
And did you meet Colby Burns?
I never personally met him, but I had seen him a few times.
And what was that context?
My mom was having to move, and he came over and helped his dad move my girls' just trampoline to my house. And from what I heard, he came by a few times and dropped money into my mailbox when I was living off her lawn.
Okay, explain that to the jury, the dropping money off in the mailbox.
Jerry Burns would give his son, Colby Burns, money to come by and drop off in the mailbox so I could go out there and get it.
And you knew that because the defendant told you that was what was going to happen?
Yes, sir.
And was there money in the mailbox?
Yes, sir.
Okay. But you never had any personal interaction?
No, sir.
Did you learn that the defendant wanted to separate from his wife?
Yes, sir.
And were there discussions of divorce?
Yes, sir.
And you've seen the text messages where y'all are actually discussing that.
Yes, sir.
When, during those discussions, did you learn about the cost of divorce that would be imposed upon the defendant?
After he come to me at the motel room I was staying at and said that he just left meeting the divorce attorney and that she would take everything if he got divorced.
And does that include the defendant's business, or at least a portion of the business, Little Man Electric?
Yes, sir, it did.
Did he speak as to that?
Yes, sir, he did.
Tell the jury what the defendant
He
said.
said that she would take all the business, well, half the business, if not all the business, if he got divorced.
Did the defendant indicate that he was having IRS problems and things like that?
Yes, sir, in the beginning of 2019 he did.
So the defendant, as far as you knew, never got divorced.
No, sir.
And when did that shift from divorce to something a little different?
It was sometime in April of 2019. I guess he went and met the divorce attorney again, and he said that it was going to cost a lot of money, and it would be cheaper if she was killed, and then he would have a life insurance policy.
Okay, that's from the defendant's mouth to your ears.
Yes, sir.
How'd you react to that?
I was kind of shocked. He asked me if I knew anybody that would commit murder for money, and I told him I didn't know nobody off the top of my head, and he asked me to see if I could find anybody.
And is it fair to say that you knew drug dealers
Yes, sir.
at that time?
Yes, sir.
And you knew people that would live what I would refer to as a street lifestyle?
Yes, sir.
And so that would be different than the lifestyle the defendant was leading,
Yes, sir.
where the defendant had a family and was going to work every day.
Yes, sir.
So he asked you.
Yes, sir.
Did you ask around and try to find people?
No, sir. Me and Stephen Hand had a discussion.
Tell the jury about that.
I went back in, and when I was meeting with Mr. Burns out in the hotel parking lot, my cell phone was on in my back pocket, so he was able to hear our conversation. When I went back in, Stephen Hand asked me, he said, did I just hear that correctly? And I told him, yeah. And we talked about it, and he told me to contact Mr. Burns and tell him that it would be done for $50,000.
Did you actually think you were going to get $50,000?
I didn't, not at all.
Okay, and why not?
I didn't think he would come up with that money like that.
'Cause that's a lot of money.
Yes, sir, it is.
So you almost quoted him so much that you didn't think it was going to happen.
Yes, sir.
What happened next?
I called Mr. Burns and I told him that I found somebody that would do it for $50,000.
And that was not true.
No, sir.
What happened next?
He told me that to give him a couple of days and he would come up with the money.
Did he?
Yes, sir. He came up with $30,000 of it.
Explain to the jury what happened.
He called me, told me to meet him, that He had something for me, so me and my girls met him at Cece's Pizza off Kingsley Avenue and Blaine Boulevard. We ate dinner. After that, we took the girls to a park off Kingsley Avenue. While they were playing, we was in his van and he showed me the money and he transferred the money from a bag he had the money in into my daughter's diaper bag. And it was $30,000.
And was Mr. Hand in the park?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Explain for the jury, they've heard a little bit from Mr. Hand about, during this period of time, you were with Stephen Hand,
Yes, sir, I was.
kind of living together as a family.
Yes, sir, we was.
And he's the father of your 3 younger children.
Yes, sir, he
Okay.
is.
So, but when Mr. Burns would come by, he would kind of duck out.
Yes, sir, he would.
Is that true?
Yes, sir.
So at the park, he kind of just walked away.
Yes, sir.
And did you show Stephen Hand the money?
Yes, sir.
And did he actually count it?
Yes, sir, when we got back to the motel room, he counted it.
And did your kids see the money?
Yes, sir, they did.
Now, you weren't telling the kids what that was for,
No, sir.
okay, but they were probably figuring it out after the fact.
Yes, sir.
So, an approximate time frame is mid-April, late April, is that where we are?
Yes, sir.
So, what did you do with that $30,000?
I spent it.
Explain to the jury how on earth you can spend $30,000 in a couple of weeks.
A lot of drugs, rental cars, new clothes, new shoes, whatever the kids wanted, out to eat, motel rooms, beach houses.
Beach houses,
Yes, sir, it went very fast.
are those like Airbnb kind of things, like rentals?
Yes, sir.
So those aren't cheap.
No, sir.
How are you dealing with the money? Are you putting $30,000 into your bank account?
No, sir. I put some money here and there in the bank account to rent rooms if you had to have a card or to do rentals and stuff, but Stephen Hand kept the cash on him.
So most of the money was kept in cash.
Yes, sir, it was.
And drug dealers don't take credit
No, sir, they don't.
or cards.
No, sir.
Okay. And even some of the hotels and the rentals, you would use cash to pay those,
Yes, sir.
even if you had a card to reserve it.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you give the defendant a cover story about the people that were supposed to be doing this crime?
Yes, sir, I did.
Tell the jury about that.
I told him that I talked to a drug dealer that I knew by the name of Eastwood, and that he said he would do it, and that's what Mr. Burns thought was going to happen.
And was Eastwood real?
He is, but he wasn't real in the picture when this was all going down.
And you never talked to him about this?
I hadn't talked to him in years.
Okay. So you used the name of someone,
Previous.
and did the defendant begin to get, was there a time where it was supposed to happen, it didn't happen, he became impatient? Tell the jury about that.
Yes, it was supposed to happen like the week after I got the money from him, which it did not happen. We took the money and pretty much dipped. I still was in contact with Mr. Burns, still was still getting money from him here and there, trying to, but I told him that that Eastwood took the money and didn't go through with the murder.
What happened next?
We went to Orlando and was staying. We got broke. Mr. Burns called and said that he would pay the $20,000 if I could get a hold of Eastwood and find out, then he would do the murder. So when me and Mr. Hand talked about it, he told me to tell him that it would be done. But this time, Mr. Burns specified a day when he wanted it done because he was going to be out of town working.
Was that May 9th of 2019?
Yes, sir, it was.
So why did it turn from we're just going to dip out with the 30,000 to let's do this for an extra 20?
Because we was completely broke and we needed money.
Were you doing more drugs during that period of time than you ever had in your life?
Oh, yes, sir.
And it's obviously because you had more money than you'd ever had in your life.
Yes, sir.
Did you and Mr. Burns have a discussion about how you were going to accomplish this?
No, sir, he told me he didn't care if she was shot, stabbed, raped, or whatever, as long as she was dead.
What were the discussions with the defendant, Mr. Burns, about how he would set this up for you?
He sent me pictures of the inside of the house, told me that he would leave the side gate unlocked, the back door unlocked, and he cut the street light, out by the street.
Earlier in this process, did you actually do a drive-by and see that there was street lights that were like strobing and flashing into the house?
Yes, sir.
And that was one of your concerns?
Yes, sir.
And so he said he would take care of that?
Yes, sir.
Did you have a discussion with him about guns? In
Yes,
other
sir,
words,
we did.
his guns?
Yes, sir.
And what did the defendant say about
He
that?
said that there was no guns in the home, that there was nothing to worry about.
So how are you and Stephen Hand talking about this, going from being, drug addicted, hotel living people to like, hey, let's go do this murder?
It was just a discussion we had that both of us wanted the money, and to get the money, we had to commit the murder.
Did you and Mr. Hand have an affinity for horror movies?
Yes, sir, we did.
And did you discuss with him how it was kind of a fantasy of y'all's to do something gory?
Yes, sir.
Describe that for the jury.
We used to watch horror movies all the time. We're obsessed with it, and we talked about acting out different fantasies of killing people and stuff.
Whoa. This was a fantasy? Whoa, this ought to be interesting.
So did y'all discuss how you were going to accomplish the murder of Velvet Burns?
Actually, we never discussed it.
So what was the discussion? Did you have weapons? Did you gear up, so to speak? How did you go about doing that?
Yes, sir. First thing I mentioned was getting a throwaway gun. Mr. Hand said he didn't want to spend the money on it. So then the next thing we did was, he said we'll use knives.
And then was there a plan of cutting her throat when she was sleeping or anything like that?
Yes, sir. That's what I told him, that is the way that it should have went.
Okay.
Was that just, she was asleep in the bed, her back was turned towards him, that he could have just went up behind her, slit her throat, and been done.
This was before?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you prepare by going to Walmart and buying things?
Yes, sir, we did.
What was that?
Mr. Hand already had his pocket knife on him, and we went to Walmart and bought another knife. We bought gloves and black long sleeve shirts and black hats.
Oh. And did you have a time frame of when this would have to be accomplished? You said May 9th, but was there in the afternoon, in the morning?
No, sir, it was to happen early Thursday morning, May 9th, when Mr. Burns left to go to work.
And that was a discussion about the time and the place and the date you had with the defendant.
Yes, sir.
So you go to Walmart, you gear up all these things. Let's take the jury through. Were you aware of a dog?
Yes, sir.
And what was your knowledge about that?
I was told that it was a really sweet dog and for the dog not to get hurt.
Who told you that?
Mr. Burns.
Was he very adamant about that?
Yes.
What did he say?
He said that the dog was very sweet, that she wouldn't bite, she wouldn't harm us, not to hurt the dog.
No matter what?
No matter what, he loved that dog.
Okay. So, describe for the jury what happens when you get to Doris Lane. Do you follow the defendant?
Yes, sir. We go through the back gate that's unlocked. We go into the back door that is left open and unlocked. And we go in the house. We are met by the dog.
All right, before we get to that, is your, what are you driving?
I want to say it was a black Suburban.
Okay. Maybe an Expedition?
Yes, sir. Something like that.
Something like that. Expensive?
Yes, sir.
So you're driving this $100,000 car and you rented it.
Yes, sir.
Did you follow the defendant to make sure he left the house.
Yes, sir, we did.
So we skipped that. Tell the jury about that.
I followed the defendant to make sure he was actually leaving town. Me and Mr. Hand were worried that maybe we were being set up. So, I followed him to his shop over off Old Middleburg, and then, followed him until he got on Interstate 10.
And then you drove back to the house.
Yes, sir, we did.
And why would you have, I mean, you said you thought you were getting set up. Why would you, if he's in on the deal, why would you think you were getting set up? He gave you all this money.
Because we were on drugs and we were paranoid.
Okay. So you've confirmed that the defendant's gone. You go back to the house. You were telling us you're met by the dog. Go there.
Yes, sir. We walk in the house, me and Mr. Hand go in the bedroom together. He walks to the side of the bed, standing behind Miss Burns. I was at the foot of the bed. He looked at me, I looked at him. I made the notion of just slit her throat and be done, let's get out of here, because we were supposed to make it look like a robbery.
And let me stop you there. I'm sorry about that. Are you carrying a knife?
Yes, sir, I am. We both walked in with knives in our hand.
Okay. And what knife were you carrying?
I'm carrying a fillet knife.
Is that the knife you bought at Walmart?
Yes, sir, it is.
And the defendant is carrying what?
A pocket knife.
And that was that a pocket knife he had for a period of time?
Yes, sir, it was.
It was his knife.
Yes, sir.
And how is Stephen Hand dressed?
He's all blacked out.
And you?
All blacked out.
You wearing a black hat as well?
Yes, sir.
So you're all suited up. You're ready. You're both in the bedroom.
Yes, sir.
You give the motion about how to slit her throat.
Yes, sir. I'm guessing Miss Burns felt us staring at her, our presence or whatever. She sat up. When she sat up, she started freaking out. Mr. Hand started stabbing her. She ended up on the floor between the bed and the dresser, and he was continuously stabbing her. He turned around and looked at me, and I just stood there staring at him. He snatched the knife out of my hand, was stabbing her with both knives, told me that he was doing this for me. If he went down, I went down too.
Okay. You're aware that Mr. Hand is testifying that you stabbed Velvet Burns as well.
Yes, sir, I know he is.
Okay, but that's not your recollection. That's not your testimony.
No, sir, it ain't.
Okay. No one's forced you to say anything here?
No, sir.
All right. So, but you did go in there with the intent to kill,
Yes, sir, I did.
and you made a throat slashing gesture to Mr. Hand right before he began stabbing.
Yes, sir, I did.
And that's why you're guilty of murder as well.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, was Miss Burns able to scream, yell? How many times do you think she was stabbed? What do you remember from that?
I don't know how many times she was stabbed. I know she was stabbed repeatedly. Repeatedly.
Was it a bloody scene?
It was really bloody.
Was she on, as you faced the bed, was Miss Burns on the left side or the right side?
She was on the left side.
And when she went down to the ground, that was on the left side of the bed?
Yes, sir, it was.
And is that where the stabbing took place?
Yes, sir, it was.
It began, like, I guess, on the bed and then spilled to the floor.
Yes, sir.
And the jury has seen Mr. Hand, but he's a pretty strong, big guy back in 2019.
Yes, sir.
Did you hear screaming from Mrs. Burns?
I heard moaning and groaning, trying to, I guess with the pain and everything that she was going through. But I never actually heard her scream.
Okay. In this area, the jury has seen some pictures. There's not room for two people to be stabbed. Is that fair?
Yes, sir.
So, how does the stabbing end? Explain that to the jury.
The stabbing ends, Miss Burns went to make this, god-awful gurgling noise. It kind of snapped me out of the trance I was in. I leaned over to grab her cell phone off the nightstand to call 911. Mr. Hand stopped what he was doing, popped me, snatched the cell phone out of my hand, and told me that we needed to get out of the house.
And you were going to call 911?
Yes, sir, I was.
All right. But obviously you didn't.
No, sir, I didn't.
So when you left Velvet Burns, she's on the floor making these horrible noises in between her bed and her dresser.
Yes, sir.
Are you both bloody?
Yes, sir, we are.
And Mr. Burns has the victim's cell phone. I'm sorry, Mr. Burns, Mr. Hand
Hand,
has the
yes, sir.
victim's- Okay. So where's the dog? Do you know where the dog is during the,
She was standing there the whole time at the foot of the bed,
not barking or doing anything?
not doing nothing.
Okay. And how did you leave the home?
Yes, sir.
Do you know how your hat ended up on the porch?
I have no idea. I didn't know I had lost the hat until I got arrested.
Once you're in the car, what happens in the expedition?
We drive and I pull over away from the house for us to change out of our bloody clothes and to clean up.
Okay. Did you bring clothes with you to change into?
Yes, sir, we did.
And what did you end up doing with those bloody clothes?
Later that day, we ended up taking them and burning them.
Did you end up taking the police to those locations?
Yes, sir, I did.
What did you do with the knives?
We cleaned them.
And did you put the knife, the fillet knife that you went in there with, into a storage unit?
Yes, sir, we put it in my storage unit that we had.
And were you aware that your mother ended up turning in Mr. Hand's knife?
Yes, sir, I was.
But they were cleaned.
Yes, sir.
So after cleaning your clothes, cleaning the knives, do you have to clean the expedition?
Yes, sir, we do.
And who's there with you when you do that?
The first time it's just me and Mr. Hands, but the second time when we go through to make sure it's clean, we are back in Orlando with my ex-girlfriend Amber Harding and my kids.
Since you mentioned Amber Harding, that was one of the people that you blamed that had nothing to do with this.
Yes, sir, it was.
She was actually in Orlando watching your kids.
Yes, sir, she was.
She may have had some tangential knowledge of it, but I think you repeatedly told her the less you know, the better.
Yes, sir.
And so your kids saw you cleaning out a bloody Ford Expedition.
My oldest did. Yes, sir, she did.
But you're not telling her you commit murder or anything like that?
No, sir.
So when do you see the defendant again?
I seen him after the murder occurred.
Okay. Had you gone to Orlando and then gone back up to the Busy Bee?
No, sir.
Okay.
I hit the Busy Bee because we were broke and needed money. We were both jumping for a fix. We didn't have no money to buy any drugs. I told him I needed money, and I met him at the Busy Bee. I want to say it was Lake City or somewhere around that area.
Is this after you'd already cleaned up?
Yes, sir.
Okay. But you're still in the Black Ford Expedition?
Yes, sir, we are.
And I guess you've cleaned it once, but you haven't done the second cleaning?
Yes, sir.
There's some testimony about $8,000 that Mr. Hand had that he may have given you in the hospital. Are you aware of anything like that?
No, sir.
Did you ever get cash in the hospital?
No, sir, I did not.
Your recollection is that you were broke, and that's why you went to Lake City.
Yes, sir. We were broke when we was in Orlando coming back. We were broke.
So tell the jury about how you knew to meet the defendant at the Lake City Busy Bee.
I let him know that Miss Burns had been killed, and I told him that I needed some money. He told me he was on his way back in from Tallahassee, that he got a phone call from the detective saying that his wife had been murdered.
He told you that
Yes, sir.
on the phone
Yes, sir.
before you got to Lake City.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you know if that was true or not?
No, sir, I did not.
So did you get to Lake City before he did?
Yes, sir, I did.
And did you go into the Busy Bee?
Yes, sir, I did.
And you've seen pictures and videos of yourself walking through the Busy Bee?
Yes, sir, I have.
Tell the jury where is Stephen Hand during all this?
He's in the SUV in the back parking lot of the Busy Bee.
He's just waiting for you.
Yes, sir.
Do you see the defendant drive up in the Little Man electric van?
Yes, sir, I do.
And do you see, did he come into the store?
Yes, sir, he did.
And what did y'all talk about?
He asked me if it was, how everything went. I told him everything was done. He asked if I was a part of it. I told him no, but I was in the house when it happened. He said, okay, thank you very much. Kissed me and gave me some money and told me that he would call me after he met with the detectives.
How much money did he give you?
a few $100s.
Did you ask about the 20 grand?
He said that he would get it as soon as he was done dealing with the detectives.
Good. Where did you go?
We stopped in McLean on our way back through Lake City, and that's where, we burnt the clothes at, and then we came, back up into Jacksonville.
I'm going to go over some of the evidence with you and just have you explain. Okay? May I
Yes,
approach your witness, Sheila? May I approach your witness, Sheila?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
State's Exhibit 113. What is that?
That is the knife Stephen Hand was using.
And State's Exhibit 112.
That is the Bowie knife we bought from Walmart that I walked in the house with.
Intending to use.
Yes, sir, intending to use.
I'm showing you what's been entered into evidence. It states 101. Do you see that on your screen?
Yes, sir.
Does that fairly and accurately depict what you looked like a few weeks after this murder?
Yes, sir, it sure does.
State's Exhibit 100, does that fairly and accurately depict Stephen Hand?
Yes, sir.
State's Exhibit 102, does this fairly and accurately depict the Walmart receipt where you and Stephen Hand were purchasing that fillet knife, that ball cap, and other clothing and accessories for this crime?
Yes, sir.
And can you read the bottom line about the date and the time?
It says May 8, 2019, 23:53:19.
Showing you what's been entered into evidence in State's Exhibit 103. What is that?
It's a rental agreement for the vehicle I was in.
And it would cost over $1,600.
Yes, sir.
And that's the vehicle you were in when you drove to Doris Lane to commit this murder.
Yes, sir.
And you're using some of the proceeds of the $30,000 to pay for this.
Yes, sir, I am.
State's Exhibit 104, is that you and Mr. Hand buying the ball cap
Yes, sir.
at the Walmart that we just saw the receipt of?
Yes, sir.
And is that Mr. Hand buying the fillet knife?
Yes, sir.
And y'all are together, at least at the purchase time of all of these?
Yes, sir.
Now we actually have, we'll go in reverse order, the video of the Busy Bee, which shows y'all moving, but I'll just go through the stills for time's sake. And State's Exhibit 99, who were those two people?
It is me and Mr. Burns.
And this kiss, is it done after you've told him that his wife is dead?
Yes, sir.
And certainly, he already told you that you knew about it because he claims the detectives were already at the house.
Yes, sir.
State's Exhibit 98, is that you and Mr. Burns talking in the aisleways?
Yes, sir.
State's Exhibit 97, is that the two of y'all in the Busy Bee?
Yes, sir.
And State's Exhibit 96, is that you waiting for Mr. Burns in the Busy Bee?
Yes, sir, it is.
Let's see if you can see this, the kiss. Can you read in the top right-hand box, for record purposes, I think the jury can see it, but for record, the date and time of this kiss?
Yes, sir. The date is May 9, 2019 at 12:51
PM.
Yes, sir.
showing you what's been entered into evidence. It states Exhibit 16. Is that your black baseball cap that you purchased at Walmart the night before that was left behind at the scene?
Yes, sir, it is.
And you don't even know how it got there?
No, sir.
Is it conceivable that it fell off in the bedroom and then somehow moved out there, maybe the dog?
That or it fell off when we were walking out the house.
Okay, you just don't know.
Yes, sir.
States Exhibit 11, is this the gate? I guess I have a better picture of it. States 9, is this the gate you went through?
Yes, sir, it is.
And it was unlocked.
Yes, sir, it was.
And then I guess back to 16, I didn't ask you about the door. In States Exhibit 16, is this the way the door was?
It was shut a little bit more, but the bolt on the door was open where the door wouldn't shut all the way.
So it was locked, but
Yes.
the door was open.
Yes, sir.
So States Exhibit 18, I can see it's good there, 19,
Yes, sir, that's how it was, but the door was shut more.
it was a little bit more closed.
Yes, sir.
I want to be clear about this fact. When you and Mr. Hand left Doris Lane, where was Velvet Burns?
She was on the floor between the bed and the dresser on the left-hand side.
And you had taken her cell phone.
Yes, sir, we have.
And when we get back from our one and only commercial break, the attorney for Jerry Burns is going to try to discredit Amanda's testimony. It's going to be very interesting. He's going to bring up a few things that maybe we haven't heard so far, and it might change quite a bit about what you think about this case.
So it took all of this, Miss Love, for you to get to the point where you can better yourself.
Yes, sir, it did.
Killing an innocent person
Yes, sir.
because it was a fantasy of yours.
Yes, sir.
A fantasy to make your own gory horror movie.
Yes, sir.
Do you know how many lies you actually have told throughout this entire case to detectives?
Quite a few.
And we're going to talk about it for a long time. Let's start with your original encounter with the police on May 31st of 2019. That was the first time that you actually were brought down to the police memorial building, correct?
No, sir, it was not.
Right. You had met several other times with Detective Matthews.
Yes, sir, I have.
But this is the first time that it was actually recorded.
I think so.
You're aware that it was your interview was recorded.
Oh, yes, sir.
And in that recording, there was also a transcription of that. So we have not only the video recording of it, we also have the transcription of it. You understand that as well.
Yes, sir.
Have you had a chance to review those?
Yes, sir, I have.
Okay, great. So let's start with actually one of the truths that you told at the very beginning, is that Mr. Burns was originally your sugar daddy because your girlfriend, right, Sarah McKay, was using him as a sugar daddy.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you saw an opportunity to do the same.
Yes, sir.
And he bought you presents, he paid for your kids, he paid for your trips to Disney World.
Yes, sir, he did.
And you used that money for those things, correct?
Yes, sir.
So your drug habit wasn't really developed at that time as it was as it got more and more closer to the time that you killed Velvet Burns.
It started out pretty heavy.
Okay. And your ex-husband was Stephen Hand, or is he still your husband, or were you ever married?
We were never married.
So Did Mr. Hand know that? I mean, did Mr. Love know that? Mr. Burns know that? Mr.
He
Burns?
knew that me and Mr. Hand was together at one point in time, but we were separated because of the domestic dispute we had been in October.
There were a number of domestic disputes you had with Mr. Hand.
Yes, sir.
He was very violent with you.
Yes, sir.
You would consider yourself basically a battered spouse if you were married.
Yes, sir.
He threatened you.
Yes, sir.
He, quote unquote, according to your testimony, whipped your ass on a regular basis.
Yes, sir.
But you stayed with him.
Yes, sir.
Had 3 kids with him.
Yes, sir.
And you talked to him also during the same interview. You also talked to him in the same interview room.
Yes, sir.
We'll talk about that in a minute. But the bottom line is that you were trying to milk Mr. Burns out of all of his money.
Now, I'm not going to lie. I really want to hear about that because we saw them whispering to each other. It was really hard to make out what they were saying. I wonder if they have a transcription about what was being said.
For your drugs, and when you came off of the drugs, you just hit him up for more money. Correct?
I never came off the drugs.
Never.
From the time I started till we got arrested, that's when I came off the drugs.
Okay, so when the time that you met Mr. Burns in when? October of 2018
Yes, sir.
to the time that you got arrested is when you came off of the drugs.
Yes, sir.
So when you spoke to the detectives originally, you told them that your role was to drive and drop 2 black chicks off to do the murder, right?
No, I told him it was Amber Harding and Stephen Hand.
Actually, the question was, it was supposed to look like a robbery, and you said your role was to drive and to drop 2 black chicks off, and you were supposed to get $5,000. Do you remember that?
I do not remember that.
Your Honor, may we, the mayor approach this is for purposes of, time purposes of impeachment? The bench, Your Honor, and show Ms. Love a copy of the interview that I'm referring to with regards to Detective Matthews.
You may approach the witness.
Thank you.
Look at the record.
So my question to you, Ms. Love, if we're on page 2, and we go to, hold on one second. All right. I need you to go to page, we're going to go, excuse me. Let's go to page 10. Regards to a plan of looking at like a robbery, and it then goes down from there,
Yes, sir.
and then over to top of page 11 where it talks about the $5,000. Does that help you refresh your recollection?
Yes, sir, it was a little bit.
So my question to you was, do you remember telling them that you were supposed to drive the 2 black women to commit the crime?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you did say that, but that's a lie.
Yes, sir, it was a lie.
And then you were supposed to get $5,000 for it, and that was a lie.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So moving on, you never got the money for that, correct?
No, sir.
Right, because it was a lie. So that's the truth. You never got the money because the $5,000 was a lie. And you said at that point in time that Stephen Hand was also in the vehicle with you and the black girls, but that wasn't true, correct?
No, sir, it wasn't.
Okay. You then admitted that basically on the next page line, referring to page 12, that there was no plan.
No, sir.
And then basically you indicated that you all went by the house.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And in that, you then threw in and said not only that you were there, Steve was there, but also Amber.
Yes, sir, we were all there together.
Okay. And that was a lie.
No, sir, we had drove by the house.
And Amber was there.
Yes, sir, she was in the car, in the truck with us.
And this was before you had taken the kids and dropped her off in Orlando?
Yes, sir, it was.
Okay. So Amber was aware and was with you when you went by the house to basically
Yes,
scout it
sir.
out. Okay? And do you remember approximately how many times you actually went by the house before you actually decided to do the murder?
It was only a couple of times.
But the night before was the one time that you were supposed to do it but never did.
Yes, sir.
And then you went by a few weeks before that as well.
We went by, when the morning that the murder occurred.
And then your initial statement to them is that Amber and Steve jumped out of the car and then basically you stayed in the car, correct?
Yes, sir.
And that was a lie.
Yes, sir, it was.
And you then stated that you stayed in the car forever and then you went inside because they were taking too much time.
Yes, sir, I did.
And then you made up a story and said that they had told you, right? They told you that she would look like a dummy, quote unquote, D-U-M-M-Y, and they thought it was all a setup.
Yes, sir,
And that was a lie.
that was a lie.
And this is your initial intake, this is your initial conversations with the, or not the initial time that you were actually in P&B being recorded.
Yes, sir.
And you knew you were being recorded.
Yes, sir.
And at this point you said you were saying these things and telling these stories because you were scared.
I was scared and I wanted to get home to my children.
And then you were also then decided to tell detectives not only was Amber there and went into the house, but that Amber actually was stabbing Mrs. Burns.
Yes, sir, I did.
And that was not only a lie, but it also now puts your lover, your girlfriend, as a primary suspect in a first-degree murder case.
Yes, sir, it did.
You made up a story then protecting Amber and said Amber actually told you that she never touched Velvet, but that she got scared and stayed in the kitchen.
Yes, sir.
And then Amber got rid of her knife, which is a lie.
Yes, sir.
And that you then met Tommy to pick up some money, and he had about $100 cash on him, and he wanted to know if it was done and if he could make, quote unquote, a phone call. Right?
Yes, sir.
And that was a lie.
Yes, sir.
That's true because you guys went back to Orlando.
Yes, sir.
You also said there was no blood in the truck. Lie.
Yes, sir.
And that Steve really wasn't worried about that at all. Right? But you then said, again, that you burned the clothes, which was the truth, because you went to show them where you could burn the clothes, where the clothes were burned, right? And the ski masks. So you were able to help yourself in that situation because you knew that you could help the detectives by showing them the area that the clothes were burned.
Yes, sir.
But yet you weren't there.
Yes, sir.
But you knew where the clothes were. Right?
Yes, sir.
Actually never went inside the home. Right? Because that was when you said, at first you said you were in the car and you went into the home because it was taking so long. And then now you said that you never actually went inside the house on line 25.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Burns had stopped talking in November, around that time when you got back together, or December when you got back with Mr. Hand?
No, sir, it was the beginning of 2019 we quit talking because he told me he was having a problem with the IRS and he wouldn't be able to give me money like he was.
And you don't know if that's true?
No, sir.
Or you don't-
Got his word.
Or you don't know if he just cuts you off?
One or the other.
Because that time I believe Mr. Burns had given you well over $10,000 just between then and there as quote unquote sugar daddy, right?
No, it was well over $10,000.
Yeah, well over 10,000.
From November 2018 till February 2009, he was paying for a rental that I was in.
The rental where you were staying?
No, a rental vehicle
Yeah. For the whole time?
for the whole time.
And in fact, you said that Tommy was supposed to give you $5,000 for this murder with the black, first it was the black females, right?
Mm-hmm.
The 5,000. But he didn't give you 5,000 for that, but he did give you $5,600, like you said, for a rental rent. Remember that?
Yes, sir.
So the 5,000 was the right number, but it was for the wrong reason, right?
Yes, sir.
It was to implicate your friend Amber into other people in a murder that they didn't commit, but that you committed.
Yes, sir.
Your testimony, basically, you had to get money from Steve because Steve wanted money. He wanted money for drugs. That was his end game.
Yes, sir.
Explain to me why you thought you were being set up.
We were paranoid. We were on drugs.
So you made sure that Mr. Burns left from his house to his shop, from his shop to the interstate, to Tallahassee, to make sure he wasn't going to be home, or that he wasn't setting you up.
Yes, sir.
Yet he was the one who was supposedly paying you the money to do this, right?
He did pay me the money.
He did pay you some money. I do agree with that.
He's the one that gave me $30,000.
Okay. How many different phone numbers did you use throughout the course of this to talk to Mr. Burns with?
There was two.
Did you tell the police that?
To be honest, I don't remember. That was almost 6 years ago.
Would it surprise you if the records indicate that there was only just one cell phone?
No, but there was two. There was my original cell phone that I used all the time and a burner cell phone that I had.
And it's the burner cell phone that all the text messages were on, or was it the regular cell phone that all the text messages were on?
It was both, because he didn't know how to stick to one cell phone.
So if we have messages on one cell phone, or your testimony now here today is that there's another cell phone, whether you gave it to Detective Matthews or not, that would have other text messages that talk about the things that you're talking about here today.
Yes, sir.
And those messages will show that Mr. Burns indicated to you all the things you said that he wanted his wife dead and all that stuff, correct?
Probably not, because I factory resetting my phone too much.
So you reset your phone all the time, a factory reset.
Yes, sir.
You are aware that the computer forensics can get deleted messages.
Yes, sir.
We'll talk about those in a minute. All of the talk about Tommy in the park in April, if you go to page 66, that you met Tommy in a park in April and he gave you $15,000.
Yes, sir.
Was that a lie or a truth?
It was a lie.
So Tommy never met you in the park and gave you $15,000.
He met me in the park, but he gave me $30,000.
But you did not count it, but Stephen Hand did.
Yes, sir. It was kind of when we got back to the motel room.
And what were the denominations in? Do you recall?
Hundreds, 50s, 20s.
A lot of 50s?
I'm not quite sure.
How was the money wrapped? Do you remember? Or was it all loose?
No, it had rubber bands around it.
Was the money all in increments of a certain dollar amount, or was it just a bunch of different money that you had to count?
I don't remember.
But you don't remember seeing it wrapped in bank money with the $2,000?
No, sir.
$2,000 denominations.
No, sir, it was not.
So if Stephen Hand had testified to that must have been either a mistake or a lie.
Objection, Your Honor, confirmation.
Tommy indicated, or Mr. Burns indicated, that he met with a lawyer, but you don't know if that's true or not, right?
No, sir, I don't.
Again, at that point, you don't know if he was basically telling you he didn't want to give you any more money, or he was telling you the truth, right?
Yes, sir.
So, from that first interview on May 31st, 2019, you had indicated that you implicated your best friend and your girlfriend at the time. You made up a story about two black chicks. You made up a story about some person named Eastwood. And then you put yourself in a situation where you were not there, then you were there, then you weren't in the house, and then you were in the house, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then, I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. We're going to go to May. We're going to fast forward 2 years to your first deposition. And in your first deposition, you were able to answer questions regarding, again, it's pretty much the same circumstances, and talk to, again, under oath. You took an oath to tell the truth, right?
Yes, sir.
You swore to tell the truth, so help you God, correct?
Yes, sir.
And again, in that particular deposition, you talked about all the details of everything that were pretty much all lies.
Objection, Your Honor, to my witness.
And you lied again in that deposition.
Yes, sir.
You said you pled to 40 years, right? 40.
40 years.
40. 40.
Yes, sir.
You were never charged, or you were never indicted on first-degree murder, correct?
No, sir, I wasn't.
The state never sought the death penalty on you, correct?
No, sir.
And in your plea in July of, I believe July 16th, 2019, you agreed to testify not only against Mr. Burns, who you obviously put in the mix, but also Mr. Hand.
Yes, sir.
But you had told Mr. Hand that you would not do that, or you said you would do that to protect your children. I'm not sure which one.
I would do it to protect my children.
And you knew at the time that you gave this interview to the police that they had talked to Lacey Love.
Yes, sir.
And that Lacey Love had told them that there was surveillance of the house and that they could see what was happening from that perspective.
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
Sure. And Lacey told you that there was surveillance, that they had you guys going in and out of the house. Is what they told Lacey. Lacey told you. You remember
I
that?
don't remember.
You remember telling Mr. Hand how proud you were of her, that she didn't break or didn't tell them the whole truth?
Yes, sir.
Are you proud that you taught your daughter to lie to the police?
No, sir.
Are you proud that you were a role model for her?
No, sir.
Not 40 years sentence, you'll get game time, so you'll be out. You get 85%. You know that, right?
Yes, sir.
So you'll be out of prison without any game time that you had. How long have you been sitting in jail prior to you pleading? Not very long.
5 years.
Well, 5 years since you've pled, right?
I got arrested May 2019 and I got sentenced April 2024.
Yeah, sentenced in 24, you're correct. You pled in 21, sentenced in 24.
Yes, sir.
So you have 5 years off there. Off your 5 years off your 40, so that's 35, and then you get 85% off of the 35.
I'm down to 29 years.
Mr. Lawson, let's make, let's clear, if you're gonna ask about 85%, let's make it really clear about that you served 85%.
Right, she's right.
Not that she gets 85% off,
Oh, no. You serve 85% of your total time, but you start
at a minimum.
at a minimum, right?
Yes, sir.
So like you said, you know how much time you have left, 29 years,
Yes, sir.
for committing first-degree murder.
Committing on my end second-degree murder.
Are you still testifying here today under oath
Yes, sir.
that you never stabbed Velvet Burns?
No, sir, I didn't.
Isn't it true that you actually went into the room first and confronted Miss Burns while she was sleeping?
No, sir, I did not. Me
And
and
then-
Mr. Hand both walked in the room at the same time.
At the exact same time.
He walked in front and I walked in behind him.
You gave another deposition 2 years later. The first interview actually you did back in 2019 with the police was you interviewed with them for 3 hours and 6 minutes, okay? You remember that? Seemed like a long time, but you probably don't remember the number.
Yes, sir.
Does that sound about right though?
I know it took forever.
And then there was another interview that day of 1 hour and 56 minutes.
Okay?
And then there's another interview that day when you were actually talking to Mr. Hand.
Yes, sir.
And the deposition in 2023, you started to change the story again regarding your relationship with Mr. Burns and stated that he was a sugar daddy, but then you never actually had sex with him in 2019, correct?
Yes, sir.
That's a lie?
Yes, sir.
You told him numerous times that you loved him and wanted to marry him,
Yes, sir.
and that was a lie.
Definitely was.
And every single time almost that you said that you loved him and that you wanted to marry him, you would then ask him for money,
Yes, sir, I was.
and he gave it to you.
Yes, sir.
And this is well before there was any sort of plan or any sort of scheme to basically kill his wife.
Yes, sir.
He bought you jewelry,
Yes, sir.
rope necklaces, charm necklaces, rings, and earrings.
Yes, sir.
Paid for you, your mom, and your girls to go to Disney.
Yes, sir.
Gave you $1,000 cash for spending money.
Yes, sir.
And this was all in December of 2018 when you were supposedly back together with Mr. Hand, correct?
Yes, sir, it was.
But your testimony was that you stopped talking to Mr. Burns in December of 2018 because you got back together with Mr. Hand.
Objection, no, this is improper impeachment. Very simple.
I'll ask again. Your testimony was that you got back together with Mr. Hand.
Yes, sir, I did.
But yet you're still engaging in a relationship with Mr. Burns.
Yes, sir, I was.
Were you also still engaging in a relationship with your girlfriend, Sarah McCabe?
No, sir, I was not.
And did Miss McCabe know that you were having a relationship? Miss McCabe know that you were having a relationship with Mr. Burns?
Not that I know of.
Did Mr. Burns know that you were having a relationship with Mrs. McCabe?
Yes, he did.
And you indicated that he gave you money daily, sometimes weekly. Is that true?
Yes, sir.
And that you had an account at Wells Fargo where the money went. Is that true?
Yes, sir.
So it would show all that money, those bank records would show all that money coming in and all that money coming out.
Not necessarily, I didn't always put it in the bank. Me and Mr. Hand shared a joint account, so it ain't like it always went in the bank.
So although you basically said that you didn't have sex with him in 2019, originally, right?
Yes, sir.
You were having sex with him at a rental property.
Yes, sir.
And that's basically where you guys would meet.
Yes, sir.
In fact, you would meet every morning, right? Mr. Burns would come by pretty much almost every morning, sometimes before work. Early in the morning.
Sometimes.
5:30 in the morning sometimes?
Yes, sir.
Because he'd have to get to work, right?
Yes, sir.
So, is it fair to say that you pretty much knew for that period of time that you knew Tommy Burns, that you knew his work schedule, correct?
Sometimes, yes, sir.
You knew when he had to get to work, and you knew when he'd get off work because he would see you whenever he could.
Yes, sir. He owned his own business, so he made his own schedule.
But you kept in touch with him on a pretty regular basis throughout that period of time, correct? Through
Yes,
texts.
sir.
And do you recall, again, never mind, I scratched that. You already indicated that the sex in 2018, but no sex in 2019 was a lie, right?
No, we didn't have no sex in 2019.
Oh,
It was back with Stephen Hand.
Okay, so that's true. All
Yes,
right.
sir.
But yet he was still paying for, Mr. Burns was still paying you and supporting you the best that he could, and you were still telling Mr. Burns that you loved him while you were with Mr. Hand
Yes, sir.
to get money
Yes, sir.
for drugs.
Yes, sir.
Your children weren't in school.
No, sir, they wasn't.
You weren't working.
No, sir.
You never really ever worked.
No, sir, I didn't.
And you met, actually, Mr. Burns actually met your mom and you held him out to be your boyfriend.
Yes, sir.
You also said not only did Amber know about this, but Selena knew about this.
Yes, sir, she did.
Did you tell the police about Selena?
Yes, sir, I did.
Did Selena know about the murder?
Yes, sir, she did.
Did Amber know about the murder?
Yes, sir, she did.
Did Sarah know about the murder?
No, sir, she did not.
Did you ever feel guilty at all? 1 ounce of guilt
Yes, sir, I did.
for taking, let me finish, for taking the money from Mr. Burns?
Oh, no, sir.
Oh, no. So, the conversation supposedly, according to your testimony and your deposition back in 2023, is that, and you testified here again today, is that during the first conversation that Mr. Burns talked to you about wanting his wife dead, that you happened to have your phone on and Mr. Hand heard that.
Yes, sir.
And was that recorded?
No, sir.
Do you think that would have probably been a good thing to record to maybe protect yourself from possible problems down the road to show the police?
I didn't think he was coming at me to ask me to murder his wife.
So you just happened to record that one call?
It wasn't recorded.
I mean, yeah, I'm sorry. You just happened to basically keep your phone on for that one call for Mr. Hand to see.
I always had my phone on when me and Mr. Burns met in my back pocket.
Did any of the money that he gave you in the park get deposited?
Sometimes it got deposited.
And his testimony is that the money in the park was given to you in a brown paper sack,
Yes, sir.
like a grocery bag,
Yes, sir.
and then dumped out into the van.
Yes, sir.
The testimony that you gave here today, that you, again, took an oath to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, indicated that Mr. Burns had indicated that there were guns that were no longer in the house.
Yes, sir.
Did you ever tell the police that?
I don't remember.
But Mr. Burns is the only one to tell you. Nobody else was around when Mr. Burns told you that.
No, sir.
So it's your word that Mr. Burns said that.
Yes, sir.
It's your word that Mr. Burns told you how he wanted his wife killed.
He never told me how he wanted his wife killed. He told me he didn't care how she died.
I thought you said in your direct examination, maybe I missed it, that he didn't care that it could be burned.
Yeah, she could be stabbed, she could be shot, anything. He didn't care as long as she was killed.
And that's according to what Mr. Burns told you.
Yes, sir.
And was there anybody else around to hear that conversation?
No, sir.
And did you tell the police that fact?
I think I did.
But you're not sure.
I'm not sure.
Initially, you said that there was no blood, and then in your deposition in 2023, you indicated that there was blood spraying everywhere.
Yes, sir.
And that you met him at the Busy Bee after the murder was supposedly had taken place.
Yes, sir, we did.
But in your direct examination, you said you met him at the Busy Bee actually prior to the murder happening. Is that just a mistake on time, your time frame?
Yes, sir.
You got back to Orlando, the murder had been committed. Amber helped clean the truck,
Yes, sir.
and your daughter helped clean the truck.
Yes, sir.
Full of blood.
It was not full of blood. We had already cleaned it. We were just re-cleaning it to make sure that we got everything.
You indicated also that Mr. Burns had told you that he had gotten a call from the detective on the way back from Tallahassee, and that Mr. Burns already knew that his wife was dead.
Yes, sir.
And you're aware that Mr. Burns had other people in that car.
Yes, sir.
So they would have heard that conversation that Mr. Burns was having with you.
No, sir. He said he was out of the van when he was having that conversation with me.
Driving on his way back from Tallahassee, but he was out of the van at some point.
Yes, sir. He had stopped.
And this would have been after the Busy Bee.
No, sir. It would have been before the Busy Bee.
Okay. So that's okay. Let me get this straight. Mr. Burns indicated to you that he already knew that his wife was dead because the detectives had called him.
Yes, sir.
And that was before he stopped at the Busy Bee.
Yes, sir.
And then he stopped at the Busy Bee,
Yes, sir.
and he met you and gave you $140,
Something like that.
kissed you,
Yes, sir.
and went on the way.
Yes, sir.
The fact that he would meet you and give you money is not unusual or anything out of the ordinary, correct?
No, sir.
The fact that he would kiss you on a regular basis is not out of the ordinary, correct?
Yes, sir.
In fact, he had done that pretty much his entire time, every time he'd come to see you over that 6-month period.
Yes, sir.
Do you remember being asked in deposition if eventually your end game was basically going to be his wife and basically have access to all of his money? You remember?
sir.
And you said that was your end game.
Yes, sir.
That's what you wanted.
Yes, sir.
And you also indicated that you told Mr. Burns that you were only the lookout and never went into the house, correct?
Yes, sir.
And again, that was a lie.
Yes, sir.
You told him about Eastwood, and that was a lie.
Yes, sir.
And then your testimony was that you were going to then go to the Busy Bee. You thought you were going to get money, but you only got 140, but you were hoping to get the extra 20, correct?
I wasn't counting on getting the extra 20, but I was expecting it to be more than 140, but he said that's all he had on him at the time.
So he's going to pay you an extra $140 once the murder was completed.
He was just giving me the $140 because I was broke and I needed the money.
Okay. You stated that you were never ever attracted to him, and you were doing this again solely for the money.
Yes, sir, I was.
You had a series of text messages that law enforcement was able to find in reference to deleted messages between you and Mr. Burns. Are you aware of that?
Yes, sir.
Have you seen those?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to be referring to them. Would it be easier if I gave you a copy so that you could follow along as far as the responses, or would you just like me to ask you the questions?
If I could follow along, please.
Okay. Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
You may.
I have copies for the court and the jury. The court would.
Judge, I believe that I think the state and the defense are both stipulating to the text messages going into evidence as far as what we both put together as a work product.
I thought they were already.
I think they are. I thought they were right. Ours were not in, but they had stipulated the ours being in as a copy. They'll go back to the jury.
We're moving into a piece of evidence and cross-examination of the state's
You don't have
witness.
any.
I don't have any specific objection. I need to see it.
Yes.
I haven't, I need to specifically
Why don't
see
we
it.
do this? We've been going almost an hour and a half. Why don't we take a 10-minute restroom break? And then, y'all can do that during the break, and then we'll come back and continue. So I would like you to stay right there, and you'll already be able to. All right, so I'll just have a 10-minute break, and we'll be back, okay? Put your notepad down. Mr. Boston, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. I please the court, counsel. So, Ms. Love, going back, before we go over do you still have the text messages in front of you?
No, sir, you took it.
Sorry. I'm going to bring it. Yep. It did. Judge, we put on the record that we introduced the text messages that we just gave to Ms. Love, going to talk about as defense exhibit number
One.
what?
Not just the same text messages in a different format. We have no objection to the issue.
Very well. Y'all take a minute. Take your time.
Okay, so I get your statements to the police with regards to your end game, right? Or the depositions, as well as that you just really wanted the money. And that's really all you wanted, right?
Yes, sir.
And you had indicated, I think, also that you were getting a lot of money.
Yes, sir, I was.
So your angle, I guess, was just to continue to do whatever you needed to do to keep getting that money, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, but there was never any love or never any feelings or never any sort of desire to marry Mr. Burns.
Sustained.
Okay. So let's go through the text messages I have in front of you, starting on October 29th of 2018.
Yes, sir.
All right. And you were speaking to Mr. Burns, right? The numbers have been established, and your text messages to him on that day that you initiated at 9:38 in the evening was, "Oh my God, baby, OMG, baby, I think I'm in love." Correct?
Yes, sir.
And short of that is then you said, "Baby, I'm so glad we met too, and we started talking." That was on 10:31.
Yes, sir.
And then there was a little joke that you made thanks to Sarah, laugh out loud.
Yes, sir.
Meaning that you were basically having a relationship with both Sarah and beginning to have a relationship with Mr. Burns.
Yes, sir.
Then Mr. Burns responds on November the 2nd and says, "I give you $2,000 today. Can you make it for a little, because you make it last for a little while, because I'm closed the THI, which I think is this account." Correct?
Yes, sir.
So he gave you $2,000 that day.
Yes, sir.
And in the way that he gives you money, does he usually drop it off? Does he give it to you, or how does he give it to you, or does he leave it for you someplace? How does that work?
It just depends. Sometimes he drops it off to me personally. Other times, if he's dropping it off on his way to work in the mornings, he left it on the, he hid it somewhere outside.
November the 2nd, baby, we might need to go somewhere else if Sarah rides by.
Yes, sir.
You're basically telling Mr. Burns that you needed to go someplace else in case you didn't want to get caught by Sarah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And that's Sarah McCabe.
Yes, sir.
Okay. November the 3rd, you make me smile when I'm around you, and even when I'm not around you, baby, I'm so happy.
Yes, sir.
To which he responds, "I love you."
Yes, sir.
On November the 4th, he responds, "I love you, baby." And then on November the 8th, you respond, "A 10 is my ring size, baby."
Yes, sir.
November the 13th, you indicate, "Baby, I'm not going back to him. I love you."
Yes, sir.
November the 17th, you say, "I want to tell you how much I love you. You are amazing. You're so sweet. You're so caring. I'm so lucky to have you to love me. I want to be with you all the time."
Yes, sir.
November the 18th, 8:42, "I can't believe this Saturday will be 4 weeks."
Yes, sir.
November the 18th, "Tommy, I promise you, you are not going to lose me."
Yes, sir.
November the 21st, "You mean so much to me. You don't know how happy I am. I'm so lucky to have you in my life. I'm happy that we are together."
Yes, sir.
And then Burns responds the next day, "Do we need to give your mom some money?"
Yes, sir.
So he's also helping out with money with your mom.
No, sir.
You told him not to give money to your mom.
Yes, sir.
November the 23rd, "No, hell no, not tired of you yet. I fall in love with you more and more every day." Right?
Yes, sir.
November the 23rd, "I've never felt this way before." November the 24th, "I can't believe it's been a month." November the 24th, "Love you more and more every day." These are all initiated by you, correct?
Yes, sir.
To Mr. Burns. But you have still indicating at this point that you had no feelings for him and no desire to be in a relationship with him at all.
No, sir.
But then on November the 29th, again, based on those responses earlier, you respond, "It's $2,000 to rent the room for 3 days and a 2-day pass at Disney for all of us." And that's in reference to him paying for your family trip to Disney World.
Yes, sir. December
of 2018 on page 3. It's $2,800. It's $2,800, but you need to find out how much more you need for your other daughter. And then I'm giving you $500 to get some clothes. I've been saving for what you have, $5,650, but I'm picking up today $2,850, so it's up to you to do with it. And the $2,800, you can tell me when you need it, so you and your girls can have a nice Christmas together, so you can go shaping, which I believe is shopping. So I'm on the way to get the trailer. I'll stop there. So that's December the 1st. He's basically giving you ample money, plenty of money for what you tell him you need for Christmas.
Yes, sir.
So he's providing you ample money at this time for your children, for your drug habit, for your living expenses, and for actually, and then above that, $950 for your lights. He's paying your electric bill too.
Yes, sir.
December the 4th. I don't care if it's for 5 minutes. I just need to see you so I can kiss you and tell you how much I love you.
Excuse me, can I see, I'm sorry to interrupt you, boss.
Hmm?
Can I see council?
Sure.
Mr. Boston, you may proceed.
Thank you, Judge. So, Ms. Love, we're into December 3rd, December the 4th. The text messages continue. And that's page 4, right?
Yes, sir.
And then the transcript that you have in front of you is how many pages? The last page is what?
21.
Okay. On the dates in reference to you telling Mr. Burns that you love him, that range, and I'm going to give you several dates, okay?
Yes, sir.
December 15th of 2018, December 15th, 2018, December 15th, 2018, December 15th, 2018, December 16th, and then it kind of stops for January, because that's when you said you got back together with Mr. Hand, right?
That's also when Mr. Burns told me that he was having problems with the IRS.
He cut you off.
Yes, sir.
But then back in February, on to page 10, February 4th, 2019, he starts back up and says he's back in love with you. Or you're back in love with him. And then from that point, on February 4th, 2019, February 13th, 2019, March 20th of 2019, March 28th of 2019, March 30th of 2019. They're just more, I love you, Tommies. I love you, Tommies. I love you, Tommies. I can't wait for the girls, Tommies, to be with you, Tommy. They're just more of that, correct?
Yes, sir.
And those are all lies.
Yes, sir.
And then it starts really March the 31st of 2019. Actually, I'm sorry, back up to page 13 of your text messages. March 22nd of 2019. It changes from really the tone of I love you to the tone March 22nd of 2019 talking about his divorce being finalized. And you ask him repeatedly from March 22nd, 2019 on, I believe, 10 different occasions throughout the course up until the time of Velvet's murder about whether his divorce is finalized, correct?
Yes, sir.
If you were getting all the money that you needed from Mr. Burns, and Mr. Burns, it was in his situation with his marriage, and was able to do what he was doing, albeit immoral, unethical, why in the world would he want his wife killed?
Because they were supposed to get a divorce and she was going to take everything.
And that came from Mr. Burns' mouth
Yes,
to
sir.
you. And yet you are the only person that heard that, correct? He
Yes.
told that to you and you alone.
Yes, sir.
Do you ever know if Mr. Burns was trying to get a divorce or wanted a divorce at all?
No, sir, I have no idea.
Ms. Love, have you also, in addition to what you've pled to and been sentenced to, ever been convicted of a crime of dishonesty?
I have a couple of petty theft charges.
3 of them, right?
Yes, sir.
Let's go back to the one last thing I want to touch on, which I think is super important. You were placed in a room on May 31st, 2019, initially when you first got detained. And you were in a room with Stephen Hand.
Yes, sir.
Do you remember that?
Yes, sir, I do.
And you know that was recorded as well.
Yes, sir.
And in that room, you told Stephen Hand, they know it was me, they know it was me, you and Amber, that, excuse my language, fucking Tommy had 2 black chicks trying to do it, and they fell through, and Amber, and we're in this fucking blank. You remember saying that to Stephen?
Vaguely.
Okay. But you remember, you did say it.
Yes, sir.
And then you said, I told him that I was the driver. Right?
Yes, sir.
And then you gave another sworn statement to a prosecutor. This is where you're sworn to tell the truth. Now, the interviews, we weren't sworn to tell the truth in the interviews, right? You were just basically given your Miranda rights and you agreed to talk to the police, correct?
Yes, sir.
So that was a voluntary discussion, yet you admit that it was full of complete lies.
Yes, sir.
So the next time you had an opportunity to basically speak was to the prosecutor July 12th of 2019, where you gave a sworn statement, where you again told the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. You took an oath.
Yes, sir.
And that was a lie.
Yes, sir.
And then you were again contacted by law enforcement and interviewed and also lied about involvement with Amber. Taking Amber out of it and putting yourself in it, but not all the way in it, right?
Yes, sir.
And then you gave a deposition where you're sworn to tell the truth. And also in 2021, where you indicated that Stephen Hand went into the room and you stayed out of the room and then you came into the room.
Yes, sir.
And that was a lie.
Yes, sir.
And then today, you're testifying that you both went into the room, but you again didn't know stabbing.
Yes, sir.
And that was a lie.
No, sir, it's not.
So, of all the lies that you've told throughout the course of this case, it is your testimony here today that what you're telling this jury is that today, of all days, is the day that Amanda Love has decided to tell the truth.
Yes, sir, it is.
So after giving her testimony, Amanda Love would return to her cell to finish serving the remainder of her sentence for shortening the life of Velvet Burns. The same can't be said about her co-defendants. The man who couldn't keep his hands to himself, gone for good. And the sugar daddy who thought so much of her that he put her into this awful position in the first place, would eke out on the death penalty and spend the rest of his life behind bars. All Amanda has to do now is speak through the plexiglass and encourage her 5 children. Don't be like your mama. And possibly, when she gets out, her entire extended family of kids and the future grandkids can hopefully have a relationship together, free from drugs and crime. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to hit the like button on the way out. And as always, thank you for joining me for another episode of They Caught Me. Till next time.